asking about the new Brisk spark plugs. What is the recommended interval for service?
That's always a tough one with
And
these because I mean, these are in such high output applications. Your service intervals are going to be very use dependent.
it's very, very use dependent, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you drive the car a lot or you don't, if they get carboned up from a lot of short drives, that's gonna. Or if you just for a few moments have a really rich fuel mixture, you can soot up your spark plugs really bad. So um, I would say generally these should have a similar life to OEM. However, again, even OEM plugs don't last 100,000 miles when you've doubled the output.
Yeah.
So I would say either replace them at an interval that makes you feel comfortable based on your experience, or certainly the moment that you sense that you have any misfire issues.
Yeah, and
It's
these,
generally,
these are I don't know even what application we're asking about. These are
yeah,
kind of across the board for motors and outputs. So yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably going to be a little better than a normal copper plug.
definitely.
And in between, like an iridium plug.
Yeah.
The iridiums are generally a little longer life, but at a compromise of spark energy for the mixtures.
So we talk about spark plugs on here regularly, and our kind of take on spark plugs has always been run OEM unless we say differently.
Yep.
Like for example, some of the turbo kits we offer, we do include different plugs with that kit, and then we do sell those plugs on our site.
Yep.
But recently we started talking about these Brisk spark plugs here. It's a spark plugs. There's not much to look at.
Fancy.
But we're carrying the Brisk racing plugs and the Brisk silver plugs. These are long life, high performance spark plugs, but we're not here to say that they're going to give you a lot more powerful spark. The nice thing is they offer a lot of options for heat ranges.
Yes, that is kind of the biggest reason. Is there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
For given sizes and heat ranges, which actually leads into another question that came up. What does it mean to go hotter or colder on plugs?
Yeah. So, we could talk about spark plugs for a few seconds. Some diagrams would help. But basically, there's a few things about a spark plug that make it hotter or colder. A big thing is you can see there in the middle of the spark plug, there's the electrode, which is what the grounding strap ionizes with when you get the spark. And so that electrode is mounted on a ceramic post. And that post travels down into the spark plug some distance. Now, the ceramic post allows heat to conduct into the body of the spark plug and eventually out of the spark plug into the cylinder head. The size and length of that post is mostly what determines the heat range of that plug.
Yeah, and then there's also an amount that post is shrouded by the metal body of the plug itself.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
But what happens is a really hot plug will have relatively low conduction of heat out of the electrode. And so what happens is that electrode starts glowing red hot. And that plug with the glowing red hot electrode will begin propagating combustion sooner than a cooler electrode. Now, that can be good in cases where you need to start the spark sooner, you need more hotter spark energy or more aggressive sparking.
A little bit of assist for that spark.
Yeah. But if you're already right at the edge of detonation or essentially dieseling of the air-fuel mixture, then you want full control over when that combustion starts, and that's when you want to move to a cooler plug that doesn't start combustion until the coil starts releasing energy. And so what we're recommending is that generally speaking, we're not saying you have to or it's 100% make or break, but we're recommending these Brisk spark plugs for stage 2 or higher applications, and we're offering plug options that are 1 to 2 heat ranges cooler than the factory plug. Again, these are more stressed applications, higher combustion pressure, closer to the detonation limit. And so we're bringing the heat of the plug back a little bit to give the ECU and ignition coil more control over when combustion starts. Again, we're not here to say that's going to be a hotter spark or you're going to get a bigger explosion.
Yep.
The spark plug's job is to start combustion, but the bulk of combustion and how it propagates through the combustion chamber is controlled by the air fuel mixture, and the characteristics of the motor,
the chamber design, the
piston
design,
how air is flowing in and out of the combustion chamber, if there's any swirl, how well the air and fuel are mixing. Again, the air fuel ratio is really key to that. And then the timing is critical. So when you start the spark is more important than how big the spark is. And the reason I make this point is the spark plug isn't determining the size or power of the combustion. Again, that's all those other things, mostly related to the air fuel mixture. But the key to a good spark plug isn't how much spark, but when and how. And so that's what these plugs give you.
Yep. As long as you're lighting it off and you're getting a proper combustion event,
it has to start at
the right time. The right time. But that's not up to the plug.
I mean, imagine a big domino. The dominoes, you see those on. The spark plug is the thing that knocks the first domino down. The rest of it's a combustion propagation process. Yep. The spark plug's not like releasing all this heat and energy into the combustion chamber to make the combustion bigger. Yep. If you can't start the combustion, that's your real issue, and that's where a good spark plug with the right heat range, the right kind of tuning is by far 99% of what makes a spark plug.
Yeah, and following that up there, this person was asking if it would benefit their stock and or tuned setup. Stock motor, you're basically never going to need or notice.
We don't recommend it. I mean, you can do it.
It's not going to hurt.
You're not going to see any benefit or gain other than.
And then, as Joe mentioned, for the tuned motors, you start pushing the limits of what you can light off with stock plugs is when you want to start looking at the big performance stuff.
Check them out on our website. There's more details. I think you'll find that we've probably posted more information about these plugs than anyone else that sells them. We've listed them at a competitive price. You can buy these lots of places, but we like to bring products like this to customers when we feel like it could be beneficial.
Yep.
And to not, blow a bunch of smoke about what things that they don't actually do.